Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and today I'm here to do Simon's hashtag Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers A to Z. Totally messed that up, so we're getting off to a great start. It is the hashtag Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers A to Z, or A to Z as Simon says. Anyway, this is a wonderful little tag that has been going around the community that Simon at the Hermit's Cave started, and I just wanted to jump in here because I thought it would be a fun way to kind of get to know your tarot tubers, right? Okay, so I have the list here of prompts, so you'll have to forgive me if I look down, and you'll have to also forgive this mess that's going on over here. You know, when you're trying to find an angle for the camera, it's like, do we want to see my messy desk? Do we want to see my messy closet? I don't know. Do we really want to see any of this hot mess? Probably not. Okay, off to a great start already. I forgot half of the things that I wanted to show you in this video. Okay, so first prompt is age. So I am 41 years old and kind of loving my 40s so far. So that's not too bad, right? So B is for books, your favorite books. And I didn't know if this was fiction or nonfiction, so I just chose one of each. So for my fiction book, I have The Girl with No Shadow by Joanna Harris. And I love everything that Joanna Harris has written. I think I have all of her books. I think she's a fabulous writer. And my nonfiction favorite book is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it is Creative Living Beyond Fear. This is really important in my life and the way that I go about doing things. So it's been a really wonderful read for me and definitely been essential to my process, my practice, my life in general, because I do try to live very creatively. Okay, C is the career you wanted to be when you were a kid and what it actually is now. So believe it or not, I actually wanted to be a marine biologist when I was a kid. I really wanted to work with orcas. I still have that connection to orcas. But then I realized that's a lot of math and science in school, and it just, I don't know, didn't ever end up happening. Kids, life, whatever. What I am now is a designer and a marketer. So D is for dream, my dream. My dream has always been to be a writer. I have done it to some extent here and there. I've worked for publishers. I've published a couple of things here and there. I don't know that I've actually ever settled into it as a dream or really pursued it very intentionally as a dream, but it's kind of always been in the back of my mind of just something that has been kind of a lifelong dream for me. I don't know if it'll ever end up happening in the way that I kind of foresaw it, but it's good to have dreams, right? Other than that, my dream is just to live, as I said, very creatively and very mindfully. E is your essential item, and I'm a little sad to say that it is probably my phone. Everything's on my phone. My life is on my phone. That's a sad thing to say. Really, that's probably a whole nother commentary in its own. But, everything's on my phone. All of my important information, my email, work, I work through my phone. I connect with you guys through my phone. So yeah, it's kind of an important thing. Okay, so F is for your favorite RWS deck. And I'm not a huge fan of the classic RWS, but I would have to say that right now my favorite is the Solera Culto Tarot. And this is it's an RWS clone, I guess you could say, but I just absolutely adore the artwork. I love the colors in this deck. It just really works for me. Now this is, I think, the first edition, so it has the backs with the geometric shapes on it, or the sacred geometry. I have edged and trimmed mine. I do have a whole video of it on my channel. But I just for an RWS deck, this one is hands down my favorite. Or it's just my favorite right now, but I think it's going to probably be a favorite in general because I just love this artwork. I think it's fabulous. Okay, enough of that. So moving along, we have, now that I have my deck all over my notes, moving along is G for gold or silver. Well, if we're talking about wearing it, I'm definitely a silver person, although I don't really do a lot of jewelry in general. But if we're talking about journaling with it, always gold. H is for height. So I'm short, as my husband says, I'm pocket size, I'm 5'2". And that's like, I'm 5'2" with shoes on. So I'm definitely super short. I is your ideal day. So my ideal day is really just a day at the beach with a book. That's like my favorite place to be. I love the ocean, I love the beach, and I love books. So, throw in a tarot deck in there with it and you're good to go. What is going on with my hair? Seriously. Okay. J is for joke. And yeah, I'm not funny. Like, I was trying to think of a joke. I just don't have one. So I pass. Sorry. K is for kids. No, thank you. Oh, wait. Are you asking me if I have some? Yeah, I do. Do I want any more? No, thanks. I have 2 kids. My oldest is 21 and my youngest is 16. L is for living arrangements. So I live in the Pacific Northwest with my husband, my kids. Well, my oldest comes in and out, college, all that. But and our 2 dogs, and my youngest has 2 birds, which I never thought would be in my house, but they're here and I kind of like them. They're all right. You might hear them in some of my videos because sometimes they get really loud. Okay, moving along. M is for your Marseille deck, your favorite Marseille, and for me, that is the Tarot di Maria Celia. I don't have a ton of Marseille decks actually, but this one is like, oh, it's super cute. I love the color palette. I love the little figures in it. I think it's just a cute little deck. It's, my favorite Marseille, I guess, if I had to pick one. I also really like I have to look up there. The La Corte Teriyaki. It's up on the shelf up high. Can you tell? Anyway, this is the Tarot di Maria Celia is really my favorite one, and it's mostly just because that little palette, or the color palette of it. The backs are even really pretty. I've edged mine in like antique and colors that don't really pick up on camera. I love that it's small and it comes in a tin. So this one I can carry around with me, take places. Okay. So N is for nicknames, and that would be obviously Dawn Michelle. Which actually, I know a lot of people that confuses people. Michelle's actually my middle name, but a lot of people in my family call me Dawn Michelle. And it just, started like when you're a kid and like your parents yell at you with your first and middle name. They did that too, but then, the rest of my family, they still just in general, just a lot of times call me Dawn Michelle. And I think that's because we have, another Dawn who's a family friend, and so that's kind of how I guess we distinguish between the 2 of us. That's really the only like nickname that I have, or that I could probably say. When I was younger, my grandpa used to call me Chickadee. That's about it. But really it's, Dawn Michelle, which I guess that's not really a nickname because that actually is my name, but that's the closest thing I've got for you. That was way too long about a name, right? Okay, so favorite oracle is O, and it will probably be no surprise that for the last few months, maybe close to a year, I don't know how long this deck has been out, it's been the Roots and Wings Oracle, and I just absolutely love this deck. I know it shows up in my channel a lot, and it ends up in all of those like, favorites lists and whatnot, but it's just because I love the color palette. I love the minimalist artwork, this sort of dreamy watercolor. I think it's watercolor. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's just so beautiful. And it's a fantastic reader. And one of the things that I really like about it is that it's a very versatile reader. So I can throw it with just about any deck in it, and it works wonderfully for that. Okay, so P is what you're passionate about. For me, I think that it probably would be no surprise that I'm passionate about tarot, of course, and journaling. Journaling's a big thing for me. And also just creativity and creative living in general. Like that's kind of like, I think I've mentioned that in a different prompt. I try to incorporate a little bit of creativity into every day, just because that is something that kind of connects to me. I saw this quote once, and I know there's a question on here, but this is a different quote. I saw this quote once about like creativity is how my soul expresses itself in the world. And that's kind of how I feel. That's not the exact quote and I can't remember who it's by, but that just kind of for me sums up how I feel about like creative living, as I call it, so to speak. So that's kind of really what I'm passionate about, is about bringing that creativity, that kind of spark of creative joy into just everyday things. So the next one is quote, because duh, PQ. But the quote I actually have written down here is, "Be the weirdo who dares to enjoy." And that is from this book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And I just think that's a fantastic quote because like it kind of fits me. I'm a little bit weird, but I really love to just, enjoy the things that I do. So anyway, that's the quote I picked. Okay. So R is your relationship status. So I've been married for 23 years. It sounds like a long time when you say it that way, right? Anyway, okay, moving on. S is season. So my favorite season, hands down, is fall. I love fall. I love the weather. I love all of the, what does they say, like cozy shirts and lattes and sweaters and sweatshirts and all of that. I think that's just fabulous. And the weather is beautiful. I love the change of the plants and the trees. Although in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of evergreens here, so they don't change a whole lot, but we do have some other trees that do change, and I really like to watch the season change. And it kind of feels like Mother Nature's getting ready to go into her slumber, and I think that this is just a really nice time to kind of get cozy and, I don't know, feel cozy. I don't know. I'm rambling. Okay, so T is tarot, your first and last. And I didn't actually get these decks out because one of them I don't have. My first deck was the Legacy of the Divine, which I do have, but it's buried in there in my closet and I just didn't feel like digging it out. But I've shown it on my channel before. I think it is still available, mass market. It's just the deck that was suggested to me when I went into the metaphysical store when I bought my first tarot deck. It's not really a deck that I connect with really well, but it has some sentimental value to me because actually I read with that deck really pretty exclusively for many, many, many years. And my last tarot deck is actually the last tarot deck that I ordered earlier this week is the Ember and Aura Tarot. And that one's actually still on its way to me. So they had a sale. I bought it. I know, depth here, right? Okay, so U is for upset. What upsets you the most? I cannot talk today. Not a good day to be filming videos, right? So just in keeping this light and fun, the thing that upsets me the most is when everybody in my family leaves the freaking cabinet doors open in the kitchen. Why do they do this? Like everything is open. I can tell who's been where by what cabinet doors are open. So I have to come along and close them all behind them. I don't know, it drives me crazy. It just, my husband does it, his mother does it, and both my kids do it too. So I don't know where I went wrong there. But anyway, that drives me up the freaking wall. Shut the cabinet doors. Like, is it really that hard? Anyway. Okay, moving on. V is for vlog. Which are you most proud of and which is your most popular? So the one that I'm probably most proud of is my more recent diving into the depth here video that I did, and mostly because a lot of that is really kind of from a video making standpoint. I was trying some new things and experimenting with that video, and I was really pretty happy with the way that it came out. But I also really like that it's kind of a reflection of me and where I am and where I'm going. And like in that video, I think there are little nuggets of how I see the world. I know you guys have asked for some more videos on that type of stuff, and I swear I am working on. I really, really am. Okay, my most popular video is hands down my video on how I study a tarot deck, which I should probably refilm because I made that one quite a while ago, and I do have some things that I would like to update with it, but for right now, it's still like hands down my most popular video, which is really fabulous because I love that, you know, I get to share my process with you guys. My weakness is totally journaling supplies. I mean, we could say tarot, but I'm way worse with journaling supplies. Like, you think my tarot collection's bad? You should see my journaling collection. Anyway, I'm like a sucker for buying journal supplies, pens, paper, notebooks, like any of that kind of stuff. I love it all. I want it all, love it all. It's like freaking Pokemon. And my other weakness would be probably coffee. I love coffee. I'm total coffee person. Where is X? Gotta find my next sheet. So X is X-rated. Tell us something you've done. Yeah, that's not happening. Okay, moving along. Sorry, Simon, not doing that one. Why is yesteryear your favorite year so far and why? So I was kind of thinking about this one for a little while because this is a really hard question. Like every year is kind of a good year because every year I learn and I grow, whether it's, actually a good year or not. So I would say like my favorite years, I guess, the years my kids were born. Like, is that a cop-out? Those are pretty good years. But for me personally, I think, I don't know, last year was a really, really hard year. And I had a lot of issues with some medical stuff going on and just, I don't know, family things. And, it was a hard year. But I want to say that it was a really good year overall because I learned a lot and I think I grew a lot last year. And I also did a lot of things that I really didn't think I'd ever do and kind of faced some of my own fears and my own challenges. This channel is a great example of that. It's something I never thought I'd do. I'd wanted to do for a long time and then finally I just did it. So I would say last year was a pretty good year just because it was a really hard year, but I got through a lot of things and there was a lot of growth for me personally. There's a lot of growth in my family, a lot of growth in a lot of different ways. So I think that one I would have to say because I can't really, remember them all. It's probably a sad thing that we can't remember them all, but although I do have to say this year's shaping up to be pretty good, so I'm excited for it. All right, and finally, Z is Zen. What do you do to relax and stay calm? So the big things that I probably do to relax and stay calm is actually what I call like meditative shuffling. And I shuffle the deck and I pull a card. And I've mentioned this before. One of my favorite decks to use for this is the White Sage Tarot. And why did I not pull it out here to show you? But I like to pull a card from a deck that to me has a very Zen or meditative feel. And I kind of let that message be a moment of calm for me to take a breath and to just kind of get some distance from whatever is maybe making me upset, or for if I just need to, it's been a chaotic, hectic day and I just need to kind of bring it down and center. But it's not necessarily just always that deck. Just for me, shuffling and pulling a card, just a single card, it's not something I journal. It's not something that, really I meditate on for a really long time. It's just kind of a moment to take a breath and breathe and to recenter. I also do a lot of doodling as a way to stay calm, to ground, and to center. It's just a very meditative process for me, so I think that's why I doodle all over everything. Okay, that is it. I've rambled on way long enough and have made this video a complete disaster, so we'll see what I can do in editing. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this hashtag of Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers A to Z. Thank you to Simon for putting this hashtag out into the community. It's been a lot of fun and I've really enjoyed watching everybody else's videos. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life. Why is it whenever I turn on the camera, my hair wants to go, ah! Okay, I forgot the things. X-ratus,